Hello everyone, it is Monday afternoon, April 20th, about 3:30. Well, I got my 7210 back. You probably see that pretty easy. And we're in a cornfield. What are we doing? Well, you might be able to tell, we're planting corn. So we got the old Cyclo International. A lot of guys don't like her, but I get along with it pretty good. Actually, the corn stalks, this corn field was planted with this planter a year ago. Same population we are right now, which is 25,788. That's what the book says anyway. So we're pretty close to that. I'm putting on liquid fertilizer in furrow. It's a blend. I got it from Nutrient Ag Solutions. I do a lot of my business with them for fertilizer and spraying and stuff. Of course, I used to work for them actually. Back, I don't know, it's been 3, 4, 5 years since I worked for them. But so that's why I'm pretty familiar with their products, and I was a salesman, so I drink their Kool-Aid. But a fertilizer blend, if you're familiar with them, great. If not, we can kind of explain it a little bit. Is 50% 1034O, which is liquid phosphate nitrogen fertilizer. It is 40% riser, which is a low salt nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, boron, copper, iron fertilizer we're putting in there. It is 10% reinforced K, which is a potassium sulfate. That's a very small amount. I know it's kind of risky sometimes putting that in there, but we're putting 5 3/4 gallon of that to an acre. So we're not putting a lot on. We're also putting on 1 pint of Accomplish LM, which helps the fertilizer work better, be more active in a row, and will activate any locked up nutrients next to that row. And 3 ounces of Radiate, which is a plant growth regulator. I have never put Radiate in furrow. This is a first, and what the heck, we're gonna put it on everything. Unless we get down to the end, we might get some straight 1034O or something like that as an idea comparison. And the other thing is, if I get a straight product, I can take it back if I don't need it all. So, but there we are. We got some action. We are planting corn, but there's 170 acres in this field, and we've got about 15 of them done. It's going to take a little while with this 6-row. So I've got my father-in-law's over a couple miles. He has the 4240. Sorry if that looks up my nose, I apologize. But and 750 John Deere drill, and he's putting in soybeans. He got started yesterday. We haven't had very good days, just trying to get stuff in the field. It's been a battle. Getting parts, getting tractors going, getting the drill going, getting seed, getting fertilizer, getting the planter going. It's just been a battle. But we're going, and things are working pretty well. A couple little hiccups, but all in all, we're doing pretty good. But short day today. I didn't get started planting. It was about 1:45. I'm gonna have to quit here in an hour to go pick up my daughter. But I talked to my wife. I think we're gonna eat supper, and I hope by 6:30 or 7 I'd be back in the field to get, might run till midnight or 1. Get some acres done. Tomorrow, this field we're going to plant a corn test plot in. I'm not too cracked about this part, but I think there's like 26 numbers going in. And at the same time, my father-in-law, where he's drilling, we hope we get that field done. And then there's another 80-acre field across the highway from where I'm at, which the highway is on the other side of that building site. But that building site is right on the highway. We get on the other side of there, they're going to put in a soybean test plot. And I hope to do that tomorrow too. But he's got some acres to cover to get that done. I'd estimate he got started about probably 1:30 or so. He probably got started about 1. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good spot to put this. There we go, that works. If he got started about 1, he's going to quit with me. My 08 Ford diesel's giving me fits. It sounds like I lost an injector, which I hate, but it could have happened. Starting to think like one lonely farmer might have to go back to gas burners, but that's okay. I do like my diesels, I really do. It's just kind of being a high maintenance, fickle pain in the butt at the moment. But oh well. So nope, we're just planting corn, drilling beans. They were talking rain in the middle of the week. Now they backed it off. We might not get any for a week, which if we don't get any rain for a week, I'll get the beans will all be done. The corn will be done except for about, what is there, 130 acres. That's going to be 80 acres of it go to corn. About 90 acres of it go to corn, and about 45 acres go to sorghum sedan. That's where the cows are, so it'll be after the 1st of May before we get to that. And then I don't want to get in too big of a hurry on that one. I've got 35 acres of teff grass I'm going to plant. And I'm going to be a little more picky about planting it. It's going to have to warm up, one. I'm confident the way the weather looks, we'll be okay planting corn and beans. I think in 10 days, 2 weeks, we'll be able to row everything, which I'm comfortable with. A lot of people want it. My dad is a good example. He wants to row his corn in 5 days. Well, it doesn't happen very often anyway. And when you plant it April 20th, it takes 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks around here. So that's okay. He doesn't have a corn planter, and he wants to plant some corn, so I'm going to do it when I get to it, which is going to be, I got this field to do. I've got a little 20-acre field west about 3 miles to plant, and then we're planting his, and it's only 10 acres. It's not like it's a big deal, but so if you can see that, maybe watch the planter a little while we keep talking instead of watching my noggin. This field's pretty fun. I made a video here all back when I was doing dirt work. I was in that 80 acres across the highway doing that. So I worked the ditches on this field before I made that video. But just going along. So of course we still got to tag calves and feed cows and all that stuff. Water cows, that takes a couple hours every morning. So it's 9:30, 10 o'clock before I get going good. That's how she goes. Of course, I got plenty of time, I know the old 6-row here, she ain't very speedy. But I get along with it. You get in it, sit, go, you can plant 80 acres a day. You're planting 400 acres, 80 acres a day. That's, 4 or 5 days in to be done. So that's not terrible. Nope, the old Cyclo, I'm going to try something this year. Up here on this flat, it's kind of on top of a hill. And all mine is, I am all dryland. I do not have any irrigated ground. There's irrigated ground there, and over this little hump, and over there, all around this place. But this is dryland. So what we're going to do is, up here on the hill, we're planting at 25, 800, whatever it is. We get down in the bottom close to the highway, there's about 35, 40 acres over there that's in that, it's a bottom, and then north of it there's a pivot. Well, all the runoff water off that pivot goes through that bottom, so it's about like having irrigated corn. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the sprocket, and we're going to plant about 30,000, 31,000 in there. Just, you know what, I know it's going to cost me some money, but you don't know if you don't try. That other 22-acre field is a dryland field. It is soybean stubble. This is the only field I'm planting corn on corn this year, but it's 170 acres, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But that other field is 22 acres. I'm going to plant that field at 31,000. It's a good producing field. It's been no-till for a number of years. It's got fertility. We've got moisture. I mean, it's dry on top, but we got moisture. I mean, you get a half inch of rain and everything's going to be knee high. I mean, we get some heat, a little bit of moisture. This stuff will just be out of the ground. So, but anyway, I want to plant that over there. That's going to be my experiment field on, I'm going to call it upland, dryland, high production, I don't know. I'm going to do an experiment over there. We're going to see if we can raise some 200 bushel dryland corn. In south central Nebraska, that is extremely good corn. This quarter we're planting now was soybeans the year before last. So I planted the soybean stubble a year ago. This is only the second year I farmed this ground, or second crop. So we're gonna, and it made 194. So, I mean, I know we had a lot of rain, but it wouldn't have taken as much rain as we had last year to do that. You know, I'm gonna get the population there. We're gonna do the fertility right. I know we're gonna need a little help from Mother Nature to get the rain, but I feel like on 20 acres, the reward severely outweighs the risk. Sorry if you get dizzy, you gotta turn around. So we're gonna try it. I'm probably crazy, but I used to tell people if I don't get somebody to call me crazy once in a while, I'm not doing it right, is my thoughts. So I like doing different stuff. Oh man, what a beautiful day. Got them big old clouds, but she's beautiful today. So, all right, well, I'm gonna, about all I know. We're gonna see what we can do. We're gonna do some experiment on some corn. Oh, corn, let's talk about that a little bit. So this field, my job I work for, I sell Midland Genetics corn seed. So of course, naturally, we're gonna plant Midland Genetics corn seed. This field is a new number. It is 115-day smart stacks. It's maybe a little risky. I mean, if it gets dry, don't get me wrong, if it gets dry, it's gonna be risky, but if we can get a little bit of moisture, this number will respond to high management. And then we're gonna manage this field highly, especially that 35 acres, 40 acres that we're gonna plant thick. I'm already planning on, since that 4240 set up, we're gonna rent a side dress coulter machine with liquid and side dress all the corn. We'll see what happens. We're kind of playing around with it a little bit. I put, this field got 120 pounds of nitrogen with burn down, plus it got 8 gallons of liquid thiosulfate. So it got another, let's do some rough math here. That'd be, we'll just call it 90 pounds for easy. So I got another 9 pounds there. Well, that figures into the 120. Plus it got 20 pounds, 24 pounds of sulfur. So the fields that were soybean stubble, which is at 22 acres, and I got one in Kansas, there's 80 acres down there. Those are soybean stubble. They got 100 pounds of nitrogen plus 20 pounds of sulfur. What I'm thinking, we'll see how it goes. I haven't made up my mind yet, kind of playing around. I'll take some advice on this too. When I side dress, I'm thinking I'm going to put on 50 to 70 pounds of nitrogen. I know this field being corn on corn will take more nitrogen. It's just the way it goes. So if I put on 70, it'll be 190 plus my sulfur. That's, yeah, I'd like to be under that, but I can live with that. 50 is only 170. That's kind of cutting it short. But here's the other thing. Up here, I guess I want to raise 150 or 60 bushel corn. It's just that little bit in the bottom I want to raise 200 plus. So we can always adjust it. So what we'll probably do is put on 50, and we get down to the bottom, we'll crank her up to 70 or maybe even a little more than that. But I'm also going to put on more thiosulfate with it. I think I'm going to put in some more of that, it's reinforced K that I have in this starter. It's a small amount, but most of the potassium a corn crop needs, especially corn or any grain almost, is that seed fill. So if I put it on side dress, that gives me that extra, 60 days that it doesn't have to be prone to the elements that it doesn't need to be. So we'll probably put on a couple gallon of that. I'm also thinking I want to add, I was thinking about adding some more 1034O or a form of phosphorus. I know corn uses a lot of phosphorus in early development. That's why it's so critical when I like putting it on with a starter. But it also takes phosphorus in the grain. It takes a lot of phosphorus to make grain. So I was thinking about adding a little bit. I mean, not much, 3-4 gallon, which I know isn't a lot, maybe 5 gallon at the most, just to play with it. So I don't know. I'm open to ideas on that one. But also, I mean, if the weather's conducive and we get, looks like we're going to raise a crop, we'll put on some aerial fungicide. I did that last year. I think it made a big difference. I also could apply foliars at that time. I'll do some foliars when we do post-emerge. I might run a gallon of like maximum impact, which is a nitrogen source, with some micros, manganese, and that kind of stuff. So, alrighty, well, I'm getting towards the end of the field here. I'm gonna need some fertilizer. So thanks for watching. Give me any comments on side dress or anything like that, and we'll catch you on the flip.